Welcome to the Awaken the Awesome podcast with your host, Olivier Day. This is Awaken the Awesome, a podcast where we acknowledge that we are all in this together. Through enlightening conversations and personal insights, we like to engage with individuals just like you who show us how they are bringing a little bit of awesomeness along their individual journeys. Our hope is to inspire you to always keep pushing and to stay awesome along the way.
It's always surprising how people want to get into the discourse of like, why am I not getting what I want? Why are my expectations not met? Why am I still waiting for this revelation or whatever of the things that I desire? I'm very big on the aspect of patience and trusting the process in regards to being true to yourself and what you want and what you expect. Just as much as it's important to always put in the work. Basic example, over the course of last week, I woke up around 6 a.m. and I went to my backyard. I got dressed, got my coffee, took a sandwich really quick and got dressed, went to the backyard and, did a quick assessment of my backyard. I'm going to get to the point of this, don't worry. Did a quick assessment, walked around the backyard and took a good look, took a good estimate, processed the information in my head. And I'm like, you know what, let's get to this. So I grabbed my rake, grabbed some gloves, and I started sprucing up and cleaning out my backyard. Lots of dead leaves, lots of, gunk under the snow that just melted. So obvious spring cleanup of the backyard. We had some renovations done on our deck last year. So it was a lot of lumber, leftover lumber that was left from last year that we had just set up, in the backyard, all the way in the back behind the shed and everything. So there was a lot of, junk lying around. And a lot of raking, went to get some compost bags. My daughter came around and like, Daddy, can I help out in any way? I'm like, sure, babe. Just grab a rake, do this, do that, do this, do that. And the reason I put in that work is because for me, as I've learned over the past year, your dreams better find you working. We've been talking about getting the backyard done ever since we moved in to this house. Our backyard isn't horrible, but it needs some love, obviously. For many reasons notwithstanding, there was a previous above ground pool. So basically it dug a basic massive hole in the dead center of our backyard. So every time it rains, so my backyard becomes National Geographic because a lot of birds come in and it's a very huge bird bath. I don't mind wildlife. It's just that my wife, often enough gets we need to do something with the backyard. We need to do something with the backyard, which I'm totally down for. But it doesn't go any further than that. We don't do the proper assessment. We don't visualize. We don't plan. And as it's often said, a failure to plan is a plan to fail. And as I've said, we've talked about this backyard for years on end, and we've never done anything. And why this really clicked for me in regards to how to address this backyard, even during confinement, is the fact that, don't just talk about it, be about it. Until you contact the contractor, until you start buying the materials, until you figure out what, the design is going to be or where this is going to be, where the pergola is going to be or whatever, what you want this backyard to be. Obviously, you have dreams, you have plans, you have expectations, but it's important for your dreams to find you working. What I mean by that, what are you doing with the backyard right now? How are you addressing your backyard right now? What significant steps have you proactively taken in order to, have your backyard ready for its upgrade as you visualize it down the road? Or are you just sitting here looking at the backyard and complaining? Your dreams better find you working in regards to, get up at 6 a.m. Don't just complain, oh my God, the backyard is such a mess. It's such a mess. It's such a mess. It's such a mess. Oh my God, this backyard is why did we buy the pool? Or when are we going to get this done? What are you doing with the backyard right now? And as I'm talking to you guys, it's funny. It's just that I keep going back to these wise words I heard from a talk given by Pastor T.D. Jakes. I'm not overly religious, I have to say, but when someone says something smart, which I'm totally down with, I can't knock you for something that makes sense. And he was putting it as very simple. Glorify the 40. So if you keep talking about, oh, I want more money, I want $40,000, I want $40,000. Like, what are you doing with the 40 that you have now? Glorify the 40. Glorify the 40. Be grateful for the backyard that you have right now. Be appreciative of the backyard that you have right now. And if chances are that your new backyard is not going to manifest itself just by you sitting around and complaining that my backyard is not what I want it to be. Okay, so what energy, love, effort, sacrifice, toil, and just overall work and grind and blood, sweat, equity are you putting into your backyard for what it is right now? You need to be in the now. Where art thou? You need to appreciate what you have right now. There we go into the realm of gratitude. I may not be where I want to be, I may not be where I'm going, but through the sweat and collaboration of my daughter and my wife and my son, we are a lot farther than we used to be. And that means something, because it took me about maybe 2 or 3 hours, just to get rid of some lumber, get rid of some materials, spruce up the huge amount of dead leaves. But believe it or not, it's been about maybe 3 or 4 days. And I don't know, maybe it's just me making stuff up, but I could tell you, looking out from my bedroom onto my backyard, there's some greenery. The grass is growing. I have a lot more appreciation for what I'm looking at, because you know what? Backyard actually looks good. It's not where, we want it to be, but it's a lot farther than where it used to be. And that is good. And that is called progress. Don't be a sour grape. Don't be just that person just sitting around is like, okay, I'm not getting what I want, so I'm just going to sit around and sulk and complain and sulk and complain and complain about the backyard and complain about the backyard, where I could just get up, get dressed, and what can I do with the resources that I have right now? What are you doing? You keep complaining that, oh, I want to read more books. Have you read all the books that you have right now? Oh, I'm not at my target goal or weight. What are you doing about the weight that you have right now? It's not just about going to the gym. It's about, okay, how are you addressing your resources that you have right now? Are you sleeping better? Are you ingesting better content? Oh, I'm not running a business yet. Okay, have you read up on how to run a business? Have you drafted a business plan? Have you connected with business owners? Oh, okay, I'm not a successful singer. Are you connecting with singers? Are you sending out, demo tapes on SoundCloud? Are you putting in, what are you doing with the resources that you have right now? Or your backyard is not what you want it to be? Did you put in the time, work, and sweat equity into, appreciating the backyard that you have right now? Guys, it's about making the best of what you have. There's a wonderful book by Jay Abraham that you guys should read. It's called Getting Everything You Can Out of All You've Got. I highly recommend it. It's not just about reading a business, but it's about how you reshape your vision in regards to how much you can actually produce from what you have. And it's something that I encourage you to always look inward, because chances are you have more potential, more resources, and more value, more energy. There's more in you than you give yourself credit for. And that is good. And that's why I celebrate you. And I encourage you, not just for your backyard, but anything and everything that matters to you. Put in the work, put in the time, show appreciation, show gratitude, and always do. Stay awesome.
This has been another episode of the Awaken the Awesome podcast. We always love to get your feedback, so please do drop us a line via Instagram, Facebook, or email. Our email address, awakentheawesome@gmail.com. Do visit our official website at awakentheawesome.ca, where you can find our entire back catalog of episodes and incredible guests. Also, if you haven't already, please hop on over to Apple Podcasts and subscribe, give us a rating, and leave us a review, as this helps us tremendously in growing this podcast and spreading the word to more awesome listeners like you. We always appreciate your support, and thank you for listening. Stay awesome.